We'll call the meeting to order. It's still 12:06. Instead of roll call today, Lisa would like for us to do introductions. So I will start with Billy.
Okay, Billy Clark, Electra, Texas.
Hello. My name is Carrie Goins. I'm with Child Care Partners. Tracy Jennings, I'm a lawyer. Debbie Powell, vocational rehabilitation.
Glenda Ramsey, Harper Perkins Architects.
Taylor Davis, Wichita Falls Chamber. Alicia Razan, Work Services Corporation.
Rhonda Shriver, Intrepid Home Health.
Kristen Morris, American National Bank and Trust. Do we want to go to the visitors as well? So back in the back, or if we start, someone start.
Yes, yes.
Christine Gerber, Texas Veterans Commission.
Steve Doan, Texas Veterans Commission.
I'm Larry Denton. I'm the district manager for West Texas with the Texas Veterans Commission.
I'm Brenda Rowland, the student hydrology navigator for board staff. I'm like Waltman, community engagement specialist with board staff. With Equus. Carla Silva with Equus. Cindy Sarn, Equus. Ginger with Equus.
Scott Essery with Equus. David Parkman, Edwin Parkman, Fleming, the external auditor.
Shauna Ferguson with Vortex.
Steve Holloway with the Wichita Falls Trades and Labor Council.
Sharon Halsey, board contract manager.
Judge Gossham's here too, Lisa.
Yep.
Welcome, Judge Gossam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there any public comment?
We know
Oh,
about more
Oh, sorry.
introductions, I think.
Oh,
Josie Gonzalez for the board, child care contract manager.
And we had Karen Fott that just stepped out with the board staff, and then I'm Kendra Ball with board
And
staff.
I think we're gonna do the online.
And the online folks
Okay.
too?
Yes, and we'll go ahead and do on the online, and I'll start. Lisa McDaniel, Executive Director.
Laniva Clark, Client Services with Child Care.
Tim Scholander, Private Sector, Barron Brothers Feed Store.
Tony Alonso with Communities and Schools of Greater Wichita Falls area.
Janice Ebner from Region 9.
Anthony Louis from Pratt Whitney.
Michelle Nelson from United Regional.
Michael Blevins, Tower Extrusions, Olney, Texas.
Derek Welch, MSU, Texas.
Deborah Thomas with Rolling Plains Management Corporation.
We also have Julie Young, and she may not be able to unmute.
Yeah, I had to, I clicked on
Okay.
something wrong,
It's okay.
but I'm back, I'm unmuted. Wichita Literacy Council, thank you.
Thank you, Julie. We also have Judge John Bullock from Young County with us today. So he's joining us by phone.
Present and accounted for.
And then we also have Sam Harper, and I don't know there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Sam, you want to
Sam.
tell us?
Sam Harper, Texas Workforce Commission, Region 1 in Lubbock.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
And I think we have also Ebony is with us virtually today also. And I think that covers everybody online. So thank you all for joining.
Did we get Marcia Anderson?
Oh.
I do, Marcia Anderson with Rolling Plains.
Sorry, didn't mean to miss you.
You're fine.
Okay, I think that covers everybody. So thank you both too for the judges attending today. We've got 2, so that's great.
We'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment today? No public comment. Declaration of conflict of interest. Does anyone have a conflict of interest today?
I'm sorry, and my mouth is full. Will we be taking action on the child care? Then I have a conflict of interest, as does Carrie.
Okay.
And when we do take votes, also when I launch the polls, we have for virtually those that would like to abstain as well.
Approval of minutes from the April 28th meeting. They were in your packet.
Kristen, I move we accept those.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Everybody, oh,
Sorry.
you want to launch the online?
Yes, I will launch the poll. So I got Billy who made the motion and who seconded?
Rhonda.
Rhonda, thank you. And I'll launch the poll for virtual. So everyone that is virtual that is a board member has voted. Just to make sure. And I'm going to end the poll. So that motion is passed.
Lisa,
We
we
didn't
didn't
vote.
vote.
Oh, in the room, sorry.
Okay, in the room, everybody that approves of the minutes from April 28th, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Next item are the items for discussion and action, review and approval of our Form 990 tax return. Does anyone have any questions? It was in the packet as well. And the auditor is in the room if you have any questions.
Yes, so on page 3, because we are a nonprofit, this is where we file our tax return. And so I just wanted to bring it to the board for approval before Mr. Partman files this on behalf of Workforce Resource. And so I only included, of course, the whole packet is in your packet, but for those in the room, I just did the front page to try to save paper since all of you did receive it with the board meeting packet. And I can entertain any questions, or Mr. Partman may be able to answer any if you have any.
Does anyone have any questions?
Hey, Lisa, this is Julie. For
Yes.
those of us that aren't well versed in tax forms, can you please summarize what this says?
Sure. And I may have to rely on Mr. Partman also, since he's the one that completed this. Basically, it is our net taxable, our year. Can you scroll up just a minute, Kendra? Sorry, where I can see the rest of it.
Like the whole.
Down, yeah, scroll down for me. Sorry, there you, where it tells me what it is. So instead of us filing a tax return, this just shows what our net assets or balances are that he has to claim, but we are a nonprofit. It shows your prior year and your current year. And we don't do, you know, a 1040 or any of those other tax forms. This is basically our tax return that we're required to file each year as a nonprofit. And David, you can help any way you can add to that.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say. It's really just an information return. There's no tax or anything due with it. So there's several pages that deal with the financial information. I think the page you're looking at is page 1, so it gives just kind of a summary of what your revenues and what your expenses were and what your fund balance was for both last year and for this year, which we'll talk about on the financial statement part here in a little bit. But really, it's just information, and it's got a lot of questions that have to be answered on it. And one of the questions is, does the board approve, you know, the 990s? So it's really just an informational return. There's no tax due, and we didn't make sure that the numbers on this agree with what's on the audit report.
And like
So
you
if
said,
I understand what's on here, it looks like our income or revenue, grants and contributions went down a little bit, our expenses went up, and our net assets went up.
Yes, your net assets went up 113,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you need to entertain a motion?
That's how I was getting ready.
I'll make a motion to approve the 990 as written.
And second,
I'll second it.
Billy seconded. All that approve, say aye. Oh, whoops, we gotta get the on, okay.
poll.
All that oppose, same sign. Okay, in the room, it was approved, so Lisa, if you wanna launch the online.
Okay, let me. Results of this. I'm trying to launch the new poll. So I've just launched the poll for the ones virtually. I think, did everybody vote that is online that's a board member?
That, okay. It was giving me an error to submit. It's not allowing me to submit. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Is it still not working for you, Anthony?
No, it's not. It's graying out the submit button.
Huh. Okay. Well, we can record your vote and do
Yeah,
that
you
if
can,
you would
yeah.
like to.
So yeah, so it just said failed to submit poll error 5003. So
Okay.
my vote is yes.
Okay, thank you. And we will note that for minutes.
Oh, there it went. So,
Okay, the next item for discussion and action is the child care RFP.
Okay, I will go ahead and discuss that one. I'm going to do a screen share here in just a little bit. Give you a little bit of background. Back on April the 6th, Workforce Solutions North Texas released the request for proposal, an RFP, 2022-008 for the Workforce Solutions North Texas Child Care Services Management and Operations. The objective of the RFP was to contract with an eligible, qualified, and experienced entity to manage and staff the Child Care Services office located within the Wichita Falls Workforce Solutions Center to serve the North Texas WDA. Proposers staff will provide direct child care services of the child care scholarships funded through Workforce Solutions North Texas to carry out the goals and objectives established by the Texas Workforce Commission and Workforce Solutions North Texas. Child care services are support services for workforce employment, job training, and other services under the Texas Government Code, Chapter 2308 and Chapter 801. So there were two proposals that we received that were responsive to the RFP, Rolling Plains Management Corporation and Equus Workforce Solutions. The evaluation process proposals were first examined by our board contract manager to ensure and determine whether they met all of the requirements for the RFP. Then we had an evaluation committee that consisted of 3 of our board members, and the proposals response criteria were independently evaluated by this evaluation committee. Both proposals scored above the minimum score required. Once completed and submitted, the board contract manager tallied the scores for the average for each criterion. Both proposals scored above the minimum required score of 210 points. And I will share my screen. Let's see if I can get this to work. Share. Are you all able to see that, my screen?
Yes.
In the room? So after a thorough evaluation by the evaluation team, the executive committee met on June the 17th, 2022 to discuss the results for the RFP scoring. The executive committee recommends an award be made to the highest scoring proposal by Rolling Plains Management Corporation. Rolling Plains Management Corporation can provide the services with expertise and a reasonable overall cost. Based on their proposal and many successful years of experience, Rolling Plains Management Corporation offers the best value for the needs for the Workforce Solutions North Texas. And so that was the recommendation by the executive committee. If there are any questions, we can entertain those. I know that the evaluators are in the room, and then Sharon, if you have any other thing that you would like to add.
Not at this point, unless there's questions.
Okay.
There's no questions, then I need a motion to approve the RFP that's awarded to Rolling Plains.
So moved.
Tracy Jennings, and second? Will you get one? Second?
I'll second.
Wanda, second. Lisa, you wanna launch the online?
Yes. So I've launched the poll. And Anthony, is it still giving you problems with this
No,
one?
this one worked.
Okay, thank you. So we may have a few others that haven't voted that's online. So if you're a board member, if you will just vote yes or no or abstain. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Thank you.
Okay, in the room, everybody that approves of awarding the childcare RFP to Rolling Plains, say aye. Aye. Any of those that oppose, same sign. Okay. And we had two that abstained, Brenda and Carrie. Glenda and Carrie.
And Glenda abstained.
Yes, Glenda and Carrie going.
Thank you.
Lisa, can you note that Marcia abstained also?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. Now for the reports, monitoring committee.
Okay, that would be mine. We did not have an actual committee meeting this past 2 months, but I did have some things I wanted to share. So on page 36 of your packet, we have the management letter for the EO review. There were no issues that were reported. So this is stuff that Ebony worked on, going to the workforce centers and making sure that we're in ADA compliance, or if there was anything that needed to be adjusted, and that was documented. But as far as TWC's requirements at this point, there's no actions that need to be taken.
I apologize, can I ask a question about that? If I might be misreading the document. The way I'm reading it sounds like there were locations that did not meet the requirements, and therefore we will now be monitored until those are corrected.
And if I can interject, please, this is Ebony Batts. There were some centers that did have some findings. However, they're the same findings that they've had throughout the years. It's not something that it is up to us to fix. It is something that is on the landlord side to fix. Like, for instance, on our Bowie building, some of the things that they listed there that needs to be fixed can't be fixed because it is a historical building. So therefore, those things are as understood. I did find a couple of little small adjustments that will have to be made. They can be rectified very easily and very quickly. I've already discussed those things with Crystal as well. So overall, with being my first time going out and doing the EO monitoring, I feel like all of our centers were beautifully done as far as the ADA requirements and the corrections that they had to fix from the previous year. Did I answer your question for you?
It did. Thank you so much, and great work on getting that done.
Thank you.
No. Okay, Lisa, if you wanted to bring up the other item.
Yes.
So next I was gonna bring them for the board procurement list. We did not have this at the last board meeting. This one, it was also late getting to you, but I wanted to make sure that we got it shared. So might have to blow that up if anybody's gonna be able to read it. And then Lisa, did you send it as a additional attachment to the invite? I can't remember.
Is it in the packet?
It wasn't in the original packet. It was gonna be a separate.
No, I did not. I just got that this morning, and I don't think I did, actually. I
Okay.
will attach it and send that out.
So we can send this out. So it's taking in our procurement purchases that we've done for the time frame of June of 21 through May of 22. And we do have some expenses in here that are going towards our service award that we got, the board service award for the library project. So a lot of those expenses are reflected in here, which is good. we're making progress on that. Someone else will report on that here in a bit. So I don't know, if you can view from here, anything that you may question, but we'll definitely get the list out to you so that you can see that.
And again, I apologize for the delay in getting this out. Due to some unforeseen circumstances this week, I put the packet together again. So we did not have all of this information put together until this morning. So I will get this out for your review. And then, of course, if there's any questions, certainly feel free to call us at any time if you see something and you have questions about it.
So Lisa, is this just report, this didn't require any action?
No.
Okay.
No, this is just a report for your information to see what basically we're purchasing with funding and to let you be aware of what procurements we do. So it's just for your information.
Okay, so no further questions, that completes mine.
Youth Advisory Committee?
Okay, that would be me. Brenda Rowland, Student Heart Bulletin Navigator. We met this morning, charter meeting. We met at the board office. So we had about 15 member present. So it's continuing to grow. So I'm really excited about that. So some of the things that we discussed, we had the seal started on the 13th, I believe, and I guess their goal is 22. I know they had a couple of students that kind of dropped, but I think it's going to be successful. Anyway, the seal is the summer Earn and Learn program. It's for students with disabilities that get placed at businesses that are in our service area to kind of get some paid work experience, and that is through partnership with vocational rehabilitation and then the workforce center as well. And then on the other side of that, it's the paid work experience. That's a year-round program that I kind of help out with. And that one, it's really picked up during the school year. I think at the most, we had about 8 students that kind of participated in that. I think during the summer, it kind of dropped down a little bit because most of them have opted to participate in SEAL. But I think our one student that's at United, he's finishing up this week. Then with that, we got two events coming up. I know with the 8th annual Career Expo, that's geared towards 8th graders to kind of get them information about businesses and industries and I guess like career pathways. On the picture, I'm sure this is what we took to show that I actually do work here. I had to take a picture, but we did get a referral from VR. So we met with the mother and daughter. They were from Petrolia. So she did work in our paid year-round work experience. She completed that and she graduated on May 23rd. So she wanted to transition to the next program. So I met with Scott and Brandon. They're going to get her set up for a program moving forward. So hopefully that will go well with that. So the 2 events coming up is the Career Expo. That's scheduled for September 8th. It will be 8:45 to 12:40. That's in partnership with Region 9. And I think as of today, that has a total of 613 students with 11 schools. Great for that. And then the transition fair, which is for youth with disabilities, we have that date set for October 12th. And hopefully that will be in person with Western State University. And then Mr. Clark wanted us to share some of the positive moments, which I'm going to defer to Kendra, since she was there to talk about the Road to College Summer Program, which was with the Cafe College.
Yes. Lisa, do you want me to go ahead and do that now, or do you want to save that for your, I think she's saying yes. You're on mute. So I just wanted to share with y'all something that we were able to be a part of. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a meeting, roundtable meeting with the Chamber of Commerce and some business partners in town. And Henry mentioned that the Cafe Con Leche program, let me back up, I always do this. Cafe Con Leche is a local organization that helps students who would be first generation college students, helps them on their path the road to college. So while they're still in school, this organization kind of helps them with whatever they need to make it possible for them to get into college, and helps them navigate the confusing, application process, financial aid, whatever they need to support them on their journey from the time some of the kids are in junior high when they enter the program, or high school, and this organization kind of supports them along the way. So anyway, I was in a meeting. Henry mentioned that Gonzalo Robles, the leader of this organization, told him that the community partner who had provided Chromebooks for their summer program for the last 5 years told him that morning that they were not going to be able to provide the 90 Chromebooks that they needed for these students that started the following week. So he let us all know, there's a need. If any of y'all have some Chromebooks you can loan out, or if you have extra funding that can help this organization, then please let me know. So I get back to the office and I tell Lisa, I was like, is there any way we can do anything for these kids? That it sounds like it fits with kind of our mission and our goals. And we made it happen. It was a really quick turnaround. Thankfully, not to plug Amazon, but to plug Amazon, their quick shipping practices made it possible for us to be able to order them on Thursday, them arrive on Monday, and I'd be able to put them in the hands of Cafe Con Leche for their students that started Tuesday morning. So that was a big success story for us. We have never partnered with Cafe Con Leche before, and so this gave us a way to help support these students that on their career path. So anyway, this is just a picture of us delivering these Chromebooks. It was about 175 or something that day. I don't know. So we're all sweaty because we've got the all you can see back here. But we had Lisa's car, both of our SUVs full of Chromebooks, and we're delivering them. This is Gonzalo and his wife who works at MSU. And we're just delivering those to them. And this is us preparing them at the office. We made a huge mess, but it took all 8 of us to get them ready and loaded and over to them. And then Cafe Con Leche, once they received them, they took them out. They had to get them all charged that night. We delivered them Monday, had to get them all charged that night and everything. And they're just, they were just so grateful and gracious. And we talked about it this morning in the youth advisory meeting, and I wanted to share that with y'all. And I pulled up their Facebook page so that you can see kind of what they do. These are the kids the first morning. They arrived, and they have activities and things that the kids do, some fun things. They help with other community organizations the kids do. Rotary, I think, sponsors them, and Zavala. So, and then the real work happens in here.
And there they are working on those Chromebooks.
Yep, they are. So there they are in action. And another thing that I wanted to mention too is we also, in addition to the Chromebooks, the Workforce Center provided bags, like tote bags, binders, spirals, pens, and pencils that they had. And we were able to provide some of those things to support the students as well. That's
it. Lisa, it's your turn.
Okay. So yes, so that concludes the Youth Advisory Committee. And obviously that was going to be part of mine at the very end of mine. But again, I just wanted to highlight the great teamwork that all of us, both at the board and at the contract level, I mean, pulled together so quickly, and we're able to make this happen for our community. So, that's what we do every day. And just, that's just a highlight there to show that. So really proud of my team and that we were able to help them. So the first thing on my report, I wanted to go over the annual audit report that was done by Edgen, Parkman, Fleming, and Fleming. That is on page 37 through 176 in the packets that I had sent out. It's a very lengthy report, and I invited Mr. David Parkman. He is with us today to discuss this. And so, Mr. Parkman, I will turn it over to you at this point.
All right. First of all, thanks Lisa and Sharon for the work y'all did to help us on the audit, as well as Nortex, Shauna and Dennis. There's a lot of information that they got together and get to us so we can work on it. But I'll kind of briefly go over the financial statements. Since the Workforce Solutions Board is actually what's considered a component unit, y'all's audit is actually combined in with Vortex's audit. So it's kind of presented in there, but you got to kind of pick through it to find out what part belongs to y'all. But the first part I wanted to discuss is actually our opinion letter. As far as the audit report goes, it's page number 1. Coming up right there. So that's the auditor's opinion that the outside people, PwC and whatnot, want to see, which gives y'all our opinion on the financial statements. So our opinion, you would be glad to know, is a clean opinion or an unmodified opinion, both on Nortex and y'all's part. So that's exactly what we want to see. We also issued 2 other letters, reports in relation to the audit. One related to governmental auditing standards, which talks about compliance and internal controls. Those things that are specific to governments. The third letter we issued was what we call a single audit report, which deals with the federal funding. Both of those letters are towards the back, talk about internal controls and compliance, and both of those letters were also clean. There's no findings or question cost reported on those letters. The financial statements, if you back up a couple pages, right, yeah, one more. I'm sorry, one more after that. So this page is the statement of net position or a balance sheet. It's got Nortex there in the middle, and then y'all's is on the right side. So y'all had total assets of $912,000. You had liabilities of $508,000, which gets down to your net position, which was a little over $400,000. $142,000 of that net position is tied up in some capital assets, and the other 261 we show it as restricted for y'all's grant purposes, but I understand y'all spend it how y'all need. And most of that money is coming from some special contracts that y'all had the last few years, VR contracts, which allows y'all to actually earn a little bit of money more than what your expenses are. Scroll down to the next page, and then kind of at the bottom of that, it gives you what your expenses are. So you have total expenses of a little over 10 million. And then if you scroll down one more, you'll have program revenues, kind of on that same row of 10,163,000. So that leaves you your positive operations of $113,000. So at the beginning of the year, you had 290 net position. At the end of the year, you have 400. So in a nutshell, that is the financial statements. I'll be glad to try to answer any questions now, or if you have questions later, I can get you my contact information.
Thank you, Mr. Parkman. I really appreciate you coming and helping explain that. And in a nutshell, out of all of those 140 something pages, there was no disallowed costs. Also, both from our end or North Texas. So just want to make sure that that's out there, clear and plain. Okay, so the next item under my report is the grant spending report. And again, this is just informational only for you. No action is required. Just so that you are aware of what each of our contracts currently hold at this point, what our expenses on the procurement, but where we stand at this point. We've got contracts, of course, that are coming up throughout the year at different stages. So some end in June, some end in September, some end the beginning of the year. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know on that. We will be getting new funding here pretty soon. The new WIOA money will start July 1. So this is just an ongoing, we just keep adding to it in different initiatives and things as we go. So the next item I don't have a report for as far as paper, but I wanted to give you an update on the co-location with vocational rehabilitation. That is moving right along. Construction has started over at the Galaxy. My apologies to those of you who live there. It's been very, very loud the last couple of weeks. They've been in there jackhammering concrete up, getting ready to redo those bathrooms. They've started framing the area where the new workforce resource room and offices will be up in the front of the building. And it's really taken off. The space where vocational rehabilitation will be, they have gone and pulled up all of the carpet, gotten that floor ready to lay. They've started painting. So it's really coming along. There was minimal construction that needed to be done in their area. So it's really coming in where I can walk in and see, oh, that's our new classroom, wow, look at our resource room. So very exciting. The closer, obviously we can't go in there now. There's a lot of construction and things going on, but I've had to spend some time over there with Webfire and our IT folks looking at data drops and just different things, making sure that we have everything ready when that time comes for, the alarm panels, card swipes for entry for the staff back and forth, but it is coming along. They're still on target for our move-in date to be October the 1st. So, so far supply, they've not had any issues on getting anything. So we're still on track. So just want to give you an update on that. Any questions? The next thing I put on here was the update for the Big Blue lawsuit. I had sent this out several weeks ago when I received this, but again, wanted to put it out there just in case, have it on the agenda. I still haven't heard anything. There's one more opportunity for them to file an appeal to the Supreme Court of Texas. If that doesn't happen by the end of, it was July, I think the 17th, then it's a done deal. So we're very, very close, as I had stated, or as our attorney had stated. Not quite there yet, but we did win this appeal. They upheld that on the first level of the appeal. So that is good news for us. Any questions? If there are no questions, I'll move on. I wanted to give you a brief update on the library project that we are doing for the Business Service Award that we had received back in December. We have started the installation of equipment in libraries. We've actually completed, we just did St. Joe yesterday. We have completed in Archer City. We are scheduled to go out and do Kroll, I think early next week. We have done, the center has done some procurement to get the desk put together. There were some kiosks that were needed in several of the libraries because they didn't really have the desk to fit the equipment on. So we're waiting for those desks to be put together, but that project is moving right along. And as we go further, I'll be sharing pictures and things. We're still working on our branding to get the signage up in all of those libraries. But that's moving right along too. So I thank Karen Fight, my IT manager, and the center staff. They've really been working hard at that to get that project wrapped up in the next month or two. And we'll have some great success out of that. So the next thing on my report was just an update on the healthcare apprenticeship program. I had told you all, I think our last board meeting, that I was going to Austin to meet with one of the commissioners on this initiative. We're continuing to work closely with United Regional Healthcare and Vernon College on this initiative. We actually are going back to Austin next week for another group meeting to finalize this plan that will be presented to Department of Labor. They really want to kick this off in the fall, so that's still moving forward. United Regional is very excited and is willing to take on about 35 apprentices through this. So I feel like this is a program that's really going to continue to grow in our area, where we can expand this to our other colleges. So it's, you know, it's a great thing to help increase the nurses, LVNs and so forth, bring more people into that healthcare so that they can get paid when they are doing their clinical hours. So more to come on that, but it is moving and headed in the right direction. So that pretty much concludes my report, since Kendra did the road to college for that. So that concludes my report.
Okay, so we'll have some updates from the Workforce Solutions Workforce Center. Crystal?
So we're still busy at the Workforce Center. We served just over 1,300 customers in May. 103 people went to work, and we provided 265 services to employers. If you're interested in the job postings by county, that's listed there. We also continue to have a ton of events, and those results are listed on your screen there. Really super excited about the partnership that we formed with the City of Wichita Falls for the community job fair in July, on July 20th. So we're going to have it at the MPEC. The partnership with the city is going to help us. You know, they have further reach than we do. A lot more people follow the city on social media, and of course they have this big venue, the MPEC, that we're able to get a discounted price for. So we're able to bring in more employers and expand our reach. So really excited about that event. So you guys come out on July 20th if you've got a minute to spare. So and it's Western themed is what they wanted to do. So the employers really like decorating their table. They get all into it, and so yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Ginger, do you want to add anything to that? No. Okay. And the other, you know, we continue to have hiring events all the time. But the other big event that we've got coming up, they talked about it at the youth advisory committee, is the Jobs Y'all Career Expo. We get about 1,500 eighth graders together. It's chaos, but it's great for them because they get to learn about the different occupations. So more to come on that. I would love for all of you guys to attend, even if it's just for 15 minutes. It's a great event and great turnout. So
I have a
question. I know what job referrals are and job openings. I don't know what total there's job. I don't know what that is.
Total jobs
So it's on the
first
document.
page.
Yeah.
So when we talk to customers, they tell us, so we get job postings, and so we enter hires on those postings. We enter hires in multiple different ways, so the totals are for, just talking to customers, yeah, I went to work at Arby's on, and so we enter that into the system, and so all of that combined is the total. Yeah. Yeah, y'all stop me if you have any questions. Okay, so this is just, we continue to be in our community. The one on the right is Crystal Eason. She was at the Clay County Job Fair in June. We have a job fair, as you know, in all of our counties each year. And then on the left is Autumn with that big grin. She's our military family support liaison, and she was at the Shepherd Start event in May. And on the next page, we had an amazing event. This is the first time we've ever done it. I'm very proud of everyone that made it happen. So it started because I wanted to do some free active shooter training for all my staff. And then I thought, I should probably invite the board and childcare. And so it started as active shooter training, but we took the opportunity to do some team building activities. This is the first time we've ever gotten everyone together in one room and provided training. So we had childcare, the board, VR, because they're moving in with us, and the workforce center. And so it was, as you can see, they had a great time. We had it at Sykes Place. They played with pool noodles, and we had a photo booth. We did have active shooter training. We had some serious business to attend to, but we also learned, each organization presented about who they are and what they do and how we can help one another. So we learned about VR and some of the things that we never knew was considered a disability. And so yeah, it was a great time. As you can see, they had a great time. And our monthly success story is David Kilman. He's a North Texas Works customer. He was incarcerated for 10 years, and he had a hard time finding reliable employment. He did obtain his CDL license in March and started working at Pride Transport. And so it was really important to David for us to highlight the fact that, you can come back from this type of situation, and to help people in same circumstances know that, there are other opportunities out there, and there is hope. So he was adamant, and so I shared the story with him after I drafted it, and he wanted to approve it and everything. So yeah, he was adamant about sharing that part. But this is what we do, why we do what we do. And the last page is just our survey results. We were at 94.02% positive in April and May. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much, Crystal. Yeah, that was a great story too. And we will move to the child care report. I did want to inform everyone during this meeting, we've had some reorganization at our child care office this week that some may not be aware of, but our director, Leslie Escobedo, had resigned her position last Friday. So we, Rolling Plains has named two co-directors, Leneva Clark and Mark Cisneros. And so Leneva will be giving this report today. So Leneva, if she's still on, she may not still be on. She may have had to drop off. Yes, I don't know that she's still on. So So as you can see, and I had received this report several weeks ago. So these are just the program updates for June. And the total awarded amount after the child care relief funding, we've got $14,608,734. It's a lot of money that they're dealing with, and that's our portion of the 3.4 billion that was awarded. Our performance is still looking great. We actually are exceeding our target, which is 1,104 right now. And we have that's with our average number. We have total children as of June the 8th, 1,317 children are in care. And then, so we are 110.03% of performance. So again, and it's okay that we are over target, but that is why we have had to put in a wait list. And so the new performance targets due to, the initiative we have listed there. So we have had to do, as you scroll on down, because we are exceeding our target, that's why we had to start a wait list again. And so right now, as of June the 9th, again, this information is a couple of weeks old. We have 217 families that consist of 372 children on the wait list. We will start, placing children from the wait list as people start falling off. It's just not happened like it's happened in the past where they'll drop off during the summer. And so, as school starts back up, we may see a little bit more. But you'll see then that we had, as far as the wait list, number of children per county. And so you can see that comes up with the total. This is 379. So I'm not sure where the variance is of the 7 children there. So the provider services report for the contracted childcare providers as of June the 9th. Again, it shows our licensed, our centers, our licensed homes, and then the registered homes, for a total of 79 that we have in our area. And 44.3% of our contracted centers are Texas Rising Star accredited. So that is great. Yes.
I'm sorry, do you guys have any idea why up at the top of the 83 centers that were invited to apply, why only 67 did? Is there some pushback, or I'm just curious?
Well, to become TRS providers, or
no, the very top for the grant, so the big grant at the top. Sorry, I let you get far before I asked.
That's okay. Oh, let me see. See what I can see what this is. I think that was only for providers that have the TRS standing. Isn't that? I think that's correct on that.
It says total providers invited to apply. So there was 83 providers invited to apply, but out of those, only 67 actually applied. So I was just curious, and I'm sure I'm asking you to look in a crystal ball and tell me what was inside somebody else's head, but I'm just curious if there was.
And honestly, I wish someone from childcare was on here.
But Lisa?
Yes,
Lisa,
can you? Yes.
I think this is not money that went through the workforce board. This is monies that was sent directly to, this was notification sent directly out to childcare centers.
Okay.
And so it was not really part of, of the services provided by the workforce board. The process itself, I mean, It's hard to say. Yes, crystal ball would be great. It was amazing money that was provided to child cares, and I'd be sad that anyone didn't apply for it.
I can add a couple of, a little bit more information. This not only happened here, it's happened all over.
Right.
And Leslie did send out an email to all the child care centers, whether they were providers of us or not. And the ones who didn't provide, there were what the TWC had coaches that when a provider applied for those services, they would give them information of how to apply, how to get it. Unfortunately, there were a lot of them that just didn't apply. And that happened all over the state. You know, there's in other areas, so sometimes you would see if they had, 300 childcare providers, maybe 100 of them never even attempted to apply for those funds. So there's no telling the reason why, but those funds directly from the state were available to all childcare providers, whether they were a provider of ours or they were just private providers. So unfortunately, and now all of that has closed, so they can't even attempt to apply for those funds anymore.
As long as I'm asking questions, has there been any talk of another round next year?
Right now, TWC is, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was with Omid this morning. The commissioners are looking at, because of the money, what other initiatives that the state can do. So I'm not sure right now of how it's going to go and what other new initiatives the commissioners are going to be approving or not. So, but I will keep everybody posted as, because there are more monies coming through. So we'll just have to wait and see where the monies go. Okay.
Thank you. And so Kendra, if you want to scroll up the rest of the report. So that's the number of the providers and then the provider services and the quality updates. It lists there. The first round of the retention bonuses were distributed to over the 200 TRS center staff at the end of April. And then early November of this year, the second round of higher payments will be distributed to those same staff members who have remained employed at the center at the 6-month mark. And so that was an initiative to try to keep staff on hand for some of these centers so that, one, they can continue to provide care to children, because that's been the biggest thing is the staff turnover. So that was an initiative to try to help resolve that for some of these daycare providers. And so then we have the curriculum assessment scheduled to begin June the 13th for the 35 TRS providers, and the total budget for that was $70,000. And then we have a few successes here as far as meeting the newest Texas Rising Star providers. We have one center there in Bowie and another one in Vernon. So it shows what their 2-star facility there in at Michelle's Daycare in Bowie, and at St. Paul Lutheran in Vernon, they're a 4-star facility. So really glad to have them added then as providers. And it shows that their enrollment capacity, 51 in Bowie and 80 there in Vernon. So that's great for those communities and employees that work there to have those providers. And if you'll scroll down, and then there's another one there, the Rose's Learning Garden here in Wichita Falls is a 4-star home. And then God's Blessings is a 3-star facility also here in Wichita Falls. So again, another capacity for 33 more children in Wichita Falls for care. Then it shows how many accredited centers we have, a total of 35. We have 21 4-stars, 11 3, and 3 2-stars. So in the month of April, we had 634 children receiving childcare services at a TRS facility. So that means that 45.64% of children received an education driven through, an age-appropriate curriculum, purposeful interactive play, and meaningful interactions with their teacher, because they've got that higher level. So, and that, I think, is all for our childcare report.
Lisa, I just want to say that at Rolling Plains, we are in a moment of transition, but we are ready for the challenge, and we appreciate and are very honored that you're giving us the chance to do this for the next 4 years. So thank you very much.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And I apologize for not being there, but you can tell I am homesick today.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Okay.
Rapid response.
That'd be me. So you have in your packet the rapid response report. There's been a little bit of activity since our last board meeting. Back in April, we received word that the Community Healthcare Center, they were downsizing one of their departments, and that affected 6 of their workers. Actually, yeah. And then WFISD, I know y'all have all probably are aware of their layoffs and things like that. I had reached out to WFISD HR department back in May to offer assistance, whatever they needed. If they needed us to come out and talk to their staff, or provide workshops or anything like that they wanted. They were still going through the process of cuts, and were not even able to provide a number of people who were going to be affected at that time. I know there was, I think it was 24 that was released to the media, but then there have been additional cuts since that time. So I've tried to stay in contact with them, but they've just been bombarded with, as I'm sure you know. And one thing to note about the WFISD is their unemployment is handled a little bit different. So that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that they were aware of, is because they're a public entity, they, their workers are still eligible for unemployment, but from the employer side, there are some different rules. And they confirmed that they had been working with their state office and with TWC state office, and that they were handling that transition. So that was good. I didn't want them to be blindsided. Then Schwann's Delivery Depot, they also are closing their delivery here in Wichita Falls, and that affected 8 workers. And then Dillard's. Part of this, we received a warning notice back in May, which is basically a notification when there's a closure that they submit to the state. And we received notice of that for them to be scheduled to close between July 14th and August 10th. Then y'all probably saw in the media, Dillard's is no longer closing. So we reached out, no, they're not closing anymore. And then about a week later, we received another warning notice that said, just kidding, we really are gonna close. So just to make sure that, everybody was on the same page, I did contact the Dillard's corporate office. Their contact there in the legal department confirmed that the original story was correct. They backed off of the closure.
they re-entered negotiations, and that an agreement could not be reached. And so she said, this is final, we are going to be closing the store in Wichita Falls. That affects about 80 workers. The timeline on that is it will happen no earlier than August 12th and no later than September 8th. So between August 12th and September 8th is when they will no longer be in operation. So there were quite a few workers between our last meeting and this one that have been affected by layoffs. So does anybody have any questions on any of those?
I have a question about WARN notices in general.
Okay.
I get the reports. I think you helped me get signed up for it. So thank you. I appreciate that. And earlier this week or last week, we saw a WARN notice about a manufacturer. I can't remember which one, but like based in Tarrant County, and that they were laying off like 50 some odd employees. And if I'm being opportunistic, which might not be the right word, is there an opportunity for us to partner with companies that are closing down in other regions and possibly support like relocation assistance to help our manufacturers here or any of our employers here that desperately need workers and we need population, we have a labor shortage, like, hey, if you guys are willing to move, like, you could even capture 10% of that, that's more.
Yes, as long as it's not confidential, which if it's a WARN notice, then it's not, that is distributed. So occasionally we learn of closures that are at the time confidential, maybe they haven't notified the workers yet or something like that. In that case, we would not be able to, partner it at that point, but yes, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm considered the rapid response coordinator for this board that handles kind of that process. There's one in every board area, so yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, I know that our EDC has a relocation incentive in place as long as it has to be paid, of course, directly to the company. It can't be paid to the individual, but it's like anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 to help offset the cost of relocating. So we could partner with you guys and say, hey, this company, like let's just say it's Helmet or something. Like let's say Helmet needs 10 workers and they've got 10 workers. We'll give Helmet the money if they go recruit them, and that partnership could be there. We all need workers.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, I'll be in contact.
Yes, please do. Anything else on the rapid response side? The very last page is just an unemployment update. Trying to keep you all apprised. We're getting back to normal, whatever that is. As far as the unemployment numbers go, as of May, which is the last time that the last month that's been released, our North Texas area is at a 3.6% unemployment.
Kendra, I'm sorry, can you scroll up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
I can't do
Thank
two
you.
things at once, Lisa.
It's okay.
Come
It's
on
hard to
now.
multitask. No, I get it.
It is.
Thank you.
Well, and I have my back. So anyway, we're at 3.6%. If you look at the graph, there is a slight uptick. We always see that right before the summer. So, that is very normal. It's not anything out of the ordinary. There are like contracted food service workers at the school districts and bus drivers and things like that fall into our to our numbers. You'll also see an uptick with the next numbers because there's also summer seasonal workers. So there's always this dip this time of year. Civilian labor force, it did the same thing. Again, civilian labor force, that's where you get your unemployment numbers for. That's the total number of people who are in that pool of workers or searching for work. We saw that increase back in March, the last report, to well over where we were before the pandemic. It dipped slightly below that line, but not very far. So we're still kind of, I would say, holding steady, even though there's a little bit of a curve. It's normal fluctuation that we're seeing. So that's, when I say we're getting back to normal, it may not feel that way from an employer perspective, but our unemployment rate is in the sweet spot where you want to be, where there's enough supply for the demand. It's kind of what that rate is, and then the labor force, we haven't lost
a lot of people out of the labor force. Looking better there too. Any questions on that?
All right. That's the end of our report. So it is 1:21 and we.
Kristen, I have something I want to say.
Okay.
If you all haven't read this, you need to. This is really good, and I want to compliment those who put this together. This is really a good document.
And I believe you're talking about the annual report, Billy?
Right.
Okay, okay, yes. We have to give credit to Lika Walton and Kendra Ball at the board level. They are responsible for putting that report together. The content, of course, is provided by our wonderful teams at our childcare, workforce, and VR centers, along with financial statements and things of that nature. So it's kind of a team effort, but Lika does a lot with the graphics and things. So yes, great job to them.
1:22. We'll adjourn now.
I will keep my eye.
Thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. I will be back with you, I hope, in August in person. So y'all have a wonderful, cool July, safe 4th. Thank you all. Kristen, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Enjoy, right?
And if anybody has any questions, of course, call me.